That was a French film, not even to be sexual. That was just a movie.
It's true cinema at its finest.
I mean, after I cleaned up, I was disturbed for a while, man. That did some things to a young me.
You ever masturbate and then just be like disgusted with yourself after you watch it, or
That's just called being a dude.
I'm unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. I'm unloading the meat. 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 Unloading the meat.
Hey, fellow hipsters and people that have culture or something. I'm Jared Ralphie Allen, host of Unloading Meat, and we need sponsors for this show. If you identify with this fucked up hat I'm wearing, these shitty tattoos, or any other cultural references that are behind me, reach out to your favorite sponsors and tell them to sponsor the show Unloading Meat. Now, back to acting like I wasn't impressed by anything. I wish this podcast could be on vinyl. What's up, guys? Welcome to Unloading Meat. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode. Today's guest is the one, the only, King Castro X. And man, we had a great conversation today, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. I think after this talk, me and him not only had just a great conversation, but boy, do I think we just struck up a great friendship, and it's something that, even past the interview has stayed on. I consider him and his wife, Joe, really good close friends now, and I'm grateful for them coming on the show. This show is, like I say, about promoting people in Tulsa, entertainers, podcasters, comedians, burlesque dancers, tattoo artists, rappers, as we're doing with King Castro X. They took this opportunity to reach out and, want to come on the show. But they also provided me with being awesome guests, but not only that, being great friends. So guys, if you like this content, make sure that you please like, share, and subscribe. All that shit we have to do on YouTube, Spotify, everything where you guys consume Unloading Meat. But guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy my wonderful conversation with my good friend, King Castro X. All right, guys, my next guest is one of the best rappers I've ever heard in the Tulsa area. Oh, did I already ruin it?
Yo, it's your man King Castro X.
I can go back.
No, you perfect. You perfect.
We can go back.
We
Sure.
can jam. It's all good.
Okay. You looked a little disappointed, King Castro X.
Man, so I don't necessarily promote my rap shit too often. I'm gonna keep it honest. Like I said, we can keep rolling. I rap, man. I make music. It's not my favorite, but we out here. We doing what we do. No music on Spotify. I think I got like 2 fucking songs out. But
well, bro, I've been hearing your stuff through the podcast and everything, because I noticed you've been putting your tracks throughout the podcast, and that's the music. I'm sure you're doing the music as the background music too, as you're talking and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah. So
it's really good. It's really good shit, man.
With the music, man, I hate studios, right? I hate recording music in the studio. Live is where it's at for me. I love fucking being on stage. I consider myself an entertainer. I don't consider myself a stand-up comedian either. I'm an entertainer, man. I like to get in front of people and act an ass. That's my whole fucking thing. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to hear my music, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to catch me live. I don't really drop shit. I rarely promote the music, the MCing, or anything like that. I'll promote the stand-up. I'll promote the podcast, because that's something special to me. But when it comes to the hip-hop, I love hip-hop, man. I'll always be attached to hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? But as far as my place in hip-hop, especially right now, I don't know where I'm at. I'm currently on a journey as an artist, I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Where can they find your music at right now?
Nowhere. I think I got a couple songs. I got a track with a guy named Sub-Z, you know what I'm saying, on Spotify called The Cut. I got a track with a man named Berto Brown on Spotify called Doing Things. I think that's... Oh, yeah, shout out to that boy A-Slade, man. We just had a song on the radio out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma called Diamonds for like 2-3 months. We were running on the radio, but shout out to A-Slade. He cooking, man. I prefer, when it comes to hip-hop, man, my place is to plug others up. So check them out. Not for me, but for them.
That's kind of how I am about this show, too.
Yes,
I want it to be a hub for Tulsa comedians, entertainers. I said my ad you guys responded to is I wanted anybody that's a Tulsa comedian, entertainer, oddity, anybody, reach out. If you got a personality, come on the show. Let's show it off. Let's build your brand. I want to help promote all of Tulsa, all of the Oklahoma area.
See, that's very much my heart, my energy, man. Like, fuck my music. Check out the next artist, man. There's so many talented MCs in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all around the world, but Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know what I mean? Especially with the Fire in Little Africa shit just popping off. It's becoming a hot place for Tulsa hip-hop and music in general and arts in general. The comedy scene is booming.
Well, we were even talking off camera. It's getting more even mainstream with like the Tulsa King show coming out and like just things being set in Tulsa. Even the Watchmen series on HBO brought up the Tulsa history with that stuff. I mean, even though it was really traumatic and bad history, it was important history.
About the Tulsa Race Massacre shit they did.
The important shit that most people didn't even know about.
True indeed.
Because like you guys grew up in the Tulsa area, right?
True indeed.
So like around here it was very hush hush. They don't talk about it in Tulsa, and like it's one of those things where it needs to be studied, it needs to be analyzed, so history doesn't repeat itself. It's an important part of history.
So I'll be honest, as a white dude, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up in not the best of places, you know what I'm saying? But I did not know about, I say that to go into this. I did not know about the Tulsa Race Massacre until I was about 17 years old. And I had my brothers, you know what I'm saying, who are black dudes, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Abdullah and CJ. They had to teach me about it. We were in my homie's van. We always pushed the van together back in the day. It was a homie's mama's van. We were rolling in the car, and they were like, yeah, bro, Black Wall Street, man. We used to be big and wealthy, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
Never even heard the term Black Wall Street until I started hanging out with people that had a different background.
It's very unfortunate, man, that not only Oklahoma, Tulsa, just the entire world, man, the government and things, they like to hide shit. They like to keep
just
secrets.
that part of it, like when that Watchmen show came out and shit, that like on Twitter and everything, people were like, did they make that up? Nobody even, like, the mainstream area, like, they didn't even know it was real.
Yeah, it's insane.
They thought it was just made for the show, and then it was like, no, this is actually happening, and the history came out, and like, we're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible. It's kind of like, are you familiar with like the Mullendorf murders?
I'm not.
There was a huge murder mystery in this area.
Oh, that's incredible.
On a ranch where like the family got murdered.
And
it was all like very hush hush, and there was a book written about it, and like even that book was like you couldn't even get it sold around here. It was like very hush hush for a while.
Is there a documentary?
No, but the book is still on Amazon. I think you can find a copy for like $20. It's very limited print.
Me and the wife, Joe Miller, man, we're really big into you know what I'm saying, serial killer docs, serial killer podcast. Shout out to Crime Junkies podcast.
So we have the Mullendorf murder case. My parents actually showed me this book because they had it once. Yeah, hardcover is $51 on Amazon right now. It's from 1976. Very limited run. Very, very limited run. That's the logo of their ranch. That's over the entrance.
Where is that?
The border of Kansas. They had a huge facility out there, and allegedly it was like the ranch hand murdered the wealthy guy. Or there's rumors of like mob ties. Growing up, my dad was telling me about it. Like it was like they don't want to talk about it. Like, it's very hush-hush in this town.
Yeah, that's wild. I've looked into a lot of serial killer shit out here in Tulsa, man. You know what I'm saying? Or in Tulsa.
There's a Wikipedia page about Mullendorf.
Yeah.
Oh, and the murder. That's
I had
cool.
never heard of that.
Yeah,
I know we do got some serial killers out there.
We're going to have to do a podcast or something like that about the Mullendorf.
I would love
that'd be cool for local.
Yeah, definitely. I know there was this little camp, man, out in Ada. You know what I'm saying? Where supposedly this native dude had killed a bunch of little girls, but come to find out later, the government said it was a native dude because, you know, the government be on some bullshit. It was actually some white man that had killed them all. I don't quite know every detail about it, but yeah, that shit was wild.
Speaking of natives and stuff like that in this area, have you guys ever watched the show Reservation Dogs?
I'm Russell Sun Eagle going to be real mad at me. Shout out to Russell Sun Eagle with the Okie podcast and Reservation Mysteries or whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? So no, I have not watched Reservation Dogs, but the Res Dogs have been to one of my battle events.
That's fucking cool. I would love. So my goal is I would love to ever be on that show or meet anybody there. My first time doing stand up, I met a comic that was an extra on that show.
Word.
And just like I was just like small world kismet, like you know, because like we talked off camera. One of the biggest influences for me was like Bobby Lee's podcast because he got me through some really, really fucking dark times. Like his story on Target, but especially like his story of like sexual assault and stuff like that, and getting through and finding comedy later and stuff like that. Very relatable for me in my history. So like a goal would I've heard stories of, like whenever he's filming Res Dogs, he's like on a little scooter, bike, just going downtown Tulsa, just hanging out. And he goes to regular clubs. Like I want to meet him. I want to love to have him on here eventually. I would love to do something like that. That's my ultimate bucket list.
That'd be phenomenal. Bobby Lee's a sweetheart.
I do, and I would just love to have that experience because like he's like a big inspiration for me.
I completely get it, man. I'm the same way with Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
The
agreed.
moment I get to sit down with
You can
Kevin
tell the
Smith,
hat.
yeah. Shout out to you too, man. You guys didn't see. Check out my wife's episode. Y'all will peep, man.
Yeah, shout out
my
to Joe
man-
Miller.
Yeah, shout out to my wife, Joe Miller. Soul Tap Podcast. My wife, or
She's
not my
funny
wife.
as hell, man.
My
Funny
man,
as hell.
Yeah, she is. She's far better comedian than I am. But my man wore a Silent Bob T-shirt, man. I was telling them off air, like, because me and my wife got married by Kevin Smith, right? For those of you guys that pay attention to my content, you know how big of a fucking influence this man is for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right there, the viewers can see it right now. That's
True
them getting
indeed.
married right there with Kevin Smith.
Look at my gorgeous ass, thick fucking wife. You know what I'm saying? I get to have sex with that woman. But yeah, man, he's a huge influence to me. And to come over to my man's house or to the studio to do a podcast or whatever, man, you wearing the Silent Bob shirt really, really painted a picture for me. The fact that I will forever be attached to a piece of Kevin Smith forever and always, or he will always be attached to me.
Yeah, then
You
like
know
a
what
month
I'm
later,
saying?
you guys met Jay, right?
We did meet Jay. Jay was pretty chill. It was a kind of an in and out thing. Shout out to my wife. She got us, you know what I mean, got us the opportunity to go see him before everybody else. He signed some shit. Now I have 2 comics signed by him, a marriage certificate, a big
Nice.
poster. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, man. They're literally my biggest fucking influences. A lot
Yeah.
of cats think it's hip hop artists or pro wrestling. It's fucking Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is the one man that can fuck my wife and I would not be upset. Guaranteed.
So like as far as comics, cinematography, and like the movies and stuff like that, and like just and overall just being like choosing your own voice, knowing that you can do your own vision and make your own path. Definitely Kevin Smith was a very early influence on me, and still to this day I adore that man, and like everything about
It's
him
beautiful.
is beautiful. Podcasting with Smodcast, the way he launched everything with Smodcast.
So Smodcast is where it all started with
Yeah.
me, man. Finding the Smodcast and then finding Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, Fat Man
Yes.
on Batman. Years ago when I started living with my wife, Batman and hip hop. It was my very
with
first
Ralph
podcast.
and Kevin and Ralph and Ralph
Garman.
Garman, yeah.
True indeed, true indeed. Hollywood Babylon,
Yeah,
I think you're talking about. All of those shows influenced me to do what I do to this very day, as well as influenced how I interact with people on a day-to-day basis. Kevin Smith is a very heartfelt person, and I always try to give myself 100% as far as just being genuine in interactions with humans and being, you know, open and receiving to people. Unless they are fucking dicks, and I got to be a dick and protect my life and my wife. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kevin Smith is fucking everything. He's the reason I do what I do. Didn't get the opportunity to tell him that when he married us, but one day when I see him again, we'll link in.
It's meant to be. You guys are gonna link in again. This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite food delivery service such as DoorDash or Uber Eats, but it could be. You can obviously tell from this frame I use those services quite a bit. So help me out and help the channel out. Reach out to those companies and tell them to sponsor this fat ass. Now, back to the show.
What it is, I don't necessarily consider myself as I wouldn't even say talented, man. I'm a hustler, man. I grind, I work hard.
But in itself,
You know
that's
what
a
I'm saying?
talent.
It's something to be had. If you ain't got it, man, you ain't gonna go far. You feel me? You
Yeah.
gotta have that. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? The hustle, man. The fact that there is no other option.
Well, one thing we talked about, and especially watch Joe's episode. It was really great. The interview was awesome.
Facts.
But she talked about, and much respect to her, about talking about how like she couldn't just get alone on talent alone. Like she was really wanting to put in the work.
You know, so I love how she brought up, you know, the talent and I agree to this. The talent will only get you so far, man.
Yeah, you gotta put in the work.
My mom used to always say, use it or lose it. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. You gotta hone your craft. I've learned that with MC and rapping. I haven't wrote music in so long, and now it's so hard for me to go back to the pen and the pad and try to piece words together. Or I haven't done stand-up in quite some time, as my wife told you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like to go back and get into that mindset. Podcasting is the one thing, you know what I mean, that I have the ability to, man, I ain't did this shit in like 10 weeks, but I can put me in front of a motherfucking mic, I'll go. You know what I mean? I give good talk. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, like, you gotta practice. I'm a big fan of like samurais and shit. I read the Hage Kore. I don't know if you fuck with that, but
No, I
the
don't fuck
way
with
of the
that.
samurai and shit. Man, but
About
these-
as much as I do is I watch the Wu-Tang show on Hulu.
shout out to the Wu-Tang show. That
Yeah.
show was phenomenal.
That show
They're
is
coming
phenomenal. I
out
can't
with,
wait for season 3.
season fucking 3, my
The
guy. I'm
finale,
a big
the final.
Wu-Tang fan. Do you fuck with the Wu?
I do fuck with the Wu.
My man does the Wu.
So I will say I'm a recent Wu because like I dabbled a little bit. You know, I knew like Cream and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, but I would never like really knew too much about their story until I watched the Hulu show. Honestly, this year it was something I picked up on in January.
Nice. It's done very well.
It's very well
aside
done.
from Wu-Tang.
And it's also done by them.
True indeed.
So like and they don't really pull any punches. Like, and you know, there's always that caveat of like, oh, well, if it's executive produced by them, how much are they actually telling the true story? It's kind of like the Queen the bio movie, where it's like it was only the good parts of Freddy's story, and it was kind of really washed.
But I feel like a majority of entertainment's fabricated.
Yes,
and it's going to be
with the
fabricated
Wu-Tang show in particular, it really didn't feel that way. Like it was pretty out there with like how dark it got and how the story
It's
was.
a phenomenal show. I love that the RZA is the main kind of key focus. Everybody else is a tie-in. The RZA story was really interesting.
Yeah, and it showed how he failed
in that show. Yeah,
with like Prince Rakeem.
Yeah,
and like going through that now, I am a fan of like. So I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical or racist or anything like that. When I would hear the Wu-Tang Clan, I couldn't tell the rappers apart. I couldn't tell them apart. It was just like it's the Wu-Tang Clan. But if you put in all the members of the Wu-Tang Clan, I wouldn't be able to pick out besides the RZA because I saw them in the movies.
Right.
And maybe Method Man. You know what I mean? But now, and ODB, just because ODB was
ugly as fuck.
But now, like you got to see every single person's personalities, their individual characters, where their backstories are. So now it's like, when that rap goes, I can hear each verse and each personality come out.
So I guess growing up listening to Wu-Tang, like I can tell them apart. You know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
It's made me appreciate it more.
Each of them have their own diverse style. Not to be, you know what I'm saying, stray off on the Wu-Tang conversation, but that's what the fuck I do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? ODB got the real loose. Just you know what I mean? Like real style. Method Man is the best with the cadence. To me, Raekwon the chef, you know what I mean? He's a motherfucking samurai. He's attacking the beat with his yo champion gear that I rock will get your boots. Now he's fighting on the beat. Ghostface Killer's just nasty. They all got their own little style, is what I'm saying, man. I mean, peep the Wu-Tang, kids. Wu-Tang is for the children. You know what I'm saying? Definitely
and also peep the show on Hulu.
Yeah, the
it's
show is
phenomenal.
And I don't feel like a lot of people know about the show, to be honest.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of shows on Hulu kind of go creeping, besides Handmaid's Tale, because they're just so devastated. People like I avoided Hulu like to play because I'm like, I don't want to be depressed watching this shit. Right. I have no interest in watching Handmaid's Tale. I'm sorry. If anybody watches it, I have nothing against it.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know?
No.
It's like, do you know what it is? Yeah.
Shout out to my wife.
Yeah.
Hulu kind of average, man.
Handmaid's Tale is like post-apocalypse. Well, not post-apocalypse, but like where like the religious kind of took over, and like it's very hardcore. Like women basically lost all rights, and like they're like
tough.
Yeah, they're bred and they're used for like breeding of like the males and stuff like that, like the religious.
That's
hot figures and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
It's fucked up.
But like every episode is like, hey, this mom's getting her kid taken away, or this one's getting raped, or it's like, who wants to watch this shit? It's depressing as fuck.
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's like watching a Lifetime movie. Every movie is like the husband did it.
Hate
you just know it.
And Hallmark. We just saw some commercials for a fucking Lifetime, Hallmark, and commercials. All three are fucking terrible combinations.
Especially around Christmas time.
Don't give me a Hallmark commercial. Don't give me a Lifetime commercial, because I'm never tuning into you. But do you know what I'm tuning into? Is motherfucking that if you know, you know, with the boys. You know what I'm saying? Tubi TV.
Yeah,
got all the retro bangers, bro.
So I've been watching Beast Wars with my kid.
Nice.
So I have two girls, and my youngest.
Shout out to the kids.
Yeah, shout out to the kids. My youngest is really into the geeky stuff, so she's like watching Beast Wars, Transformers, Power Rangers.
Phenomenal. You're raising queens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's going pretty well.
That's beautiful. I tried to show my sons fucking like anime and shit. They're finally watching the Batman animated series and Justice League and the Teen Titans.
She's watching Batman animated series with me.
But I'm like, what the fuck is Paw Patrol, bitch? Nobody wanted to watch that with your little hoe ass ever in my fucking life. Don't even want to watch that bullshit. Let's watch Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Cowboy Bebop with like some classics. You know what I'm saying? Let's watch Batman. Fucking now you're watching it. Now you're gonna be something, son. But for a while, I was worried about you little fucks.
I went a little bit too far once because she caught me watching like Eric Andre once, and so like she went to school and was like, "Time to deliver a pizza ball," and nobody knew what the fuck she's talking about.
Are you a fan of the Eric Andre show?
Oh yeah,
I'm a huge fan.
I love Eric Andre. I really love Eric Andre.
He's so out of this is a comedy podcast, so we can fucking talk about comedy. He's so out of the box with it. Him as well as Hannibal Buress's cadence. His delivery's very unorthodox. I mean, it's almost as if he's just talking. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love it. I'm a huge Hannibal Buress fan.
And also respect to Hannibal Buress for the Bill Cosby shit.
True indeed.
Like that was mad because that could have just killed his career.
Yeah, it really could have.
There's two people like I talked about it on another podcast, but two people in comedy really stand out as like really mad respect
Mhm.
was him for the Bill Cosby stuff, and then Norm Macdonald for the O.J. Simpson stuff.
I'm not as familiar with Norm Macdonald. Didn't you tell me about Norm Macdonald, sweetie? That's the guy, the bird, Mike Tyson's Adventures.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep, you're exactly right.
Mike Tyson's Adventures.
That's a great
Check
show.
it. Fucking
Hilarious
phenomenal. We found
show.
it together.
That's hilarious. It's on Adult Swim on
fucked
HBO
to
Max.
it. You know what I'm saying? We had it on. fucking. No, that was King of the Hill. She said no.
It's coming back.
Mike Tyson's Adventures.
No, King of the Hills. So your
Okay,
sex
yeah, I
life
saw they're
will jump
making
up
a new-
too.
We saw they're making. We did fuck to King of the Hill. That's a true fucking story. I'm just gonna see how many things I can say. Me and my wife have fucked in this episode. So you know what I'm saying? Oh, it was some good
Okay.
sex, man. She said okay, so I thought something was happening.
I'm about to go down to Taco Bell and give me a Baja Blast.
That's fire as fuck. That's fire.
I mean, in all honesty, if you really like this show, Unloading Meat, you will reach out to your favorite DoorDash or Uber Eats company and tell them to sponsor the show. Because it's kind of like a Mr. Beast situation where I spend so much fucking money on food being a fat ass that if they were to sponsor the show, somehow that money would go directly back into the show in a weird way. So, yeah, get us a sponsorship. Now back to the show.
There's that poker face show we were talking about.
Yeah, we were
earlier
talking about that
as well.
off air. I'll have to watch it out because honestly, the only thing we have Peacock for is that 70s show reruns,
Mhm.
and occasionally I'll watch a WWE show.
Trash. So WWE is great. You know what I'm saying? WWE itself is ass. The content, the product now sucks. To me personally, I'm a hot take. I don't think it's very much of a fucking hot take. Everybody knows WWE is.
We can talk wrestling.
Yeah,
I'm a big wrestling head.
WWE's not what it once was. Not what it was some years back, a few years back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got to do something better. You know what I mean? AEW's the elite product, unless you fucking with New Japan.
Yes,
You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
I'm a hardcore AEW fan.
I
With New
see.
Japan on the side, I dabble with it. Basically the people from AEW that go over there. I'll go over and watch.
So coming from somebody that has experience in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Oh, trained, went to school for it, things like that. I care about the work.
Yeah.
The in-ring work is what fucking matters to me. And I don't see that over at WWE as much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But growing up as a fan of pro wrestling, I love the stories. And that's one thing that WWE is unmatched at.
Can I give
forever
you
and always.
my take on the two differences and see from you as a performer, especially a ring, my take and see what you think?
Go ahead.
I feel like AEW's equivalent feels like an indie rock show coming to town. WWE's show feels like the carnival's in town and everybody's just coming to see the event.
I think that's valid.
It's just like WWE's in town. Here's a show. It's just you're going to see the WWE brand. You're not going to see any individual star.
Right.
That's also how I kind of felt like where like they never wanted to build a star bigger than The Rock because like The Rock left and Vince was like, fuck no, not doing that again. So nobody got bigger than the actual brand of WWE.
So what do you think about it? I think John Cena reached that level.
He did,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
only after later life. Like he was
Yeah,
in
way
WWE
later.
for a
He
long
was. He
time.
put in a lot of work. What do you think
Uh,
about John Cena? A lot
I
of
love
people hate
John
on
Cena. I respect
I'm a
him.
big fan of him. Growing up as a white
I
rapper,
will
was-
never stop laughing at that Mandarin apology video.
Yeah,
That was fucking hilarious.
I'm just saying.
The Taiwan apology, you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't see it.
So he was advertising for Fast and the Furious, that movie he was in with the Fast and Furious 9 or whatever. And he just happened to mention that like on the tour, our first stop is the country of Taiwan. Well, China doesn't want you to recognize Taiwan as a country.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it almost got the entire country or the movie banned in China. And there was like this whole thing like cancel John Cena and stuff. And he had to like apologize in Mandarin. Because he speaks fluent Mandarin. He trained himself to speak Mandarin. That's also another prop. He trained himself like in a year to speak
My
fluent
man's
Mandarin
educated.
with a full accent and everything. People are like, no, it's very good Mandarin. Like it's very passable Mandarin. He did a whole apology like I never meant to offend the people's property of China or whatever the fuck they want to call it, People's Republic of China and stuff like that. Like just for mentioning that Taiwan could have been a country on the press tour. Like it was like a huge deal. And I laughed so hard at that apology because it's so fucking funny with its
That's
fucking.
tough.
Okay,
That's tough.
me and my roommate were talking about this off camera or one time. I can separate John Cena the wrestler from John Cena the actor just because of the hair.
Because his hair's more shaggy and like movies,
Yeah,
right?
but like when he
Know what
goes
I'm
back to WWE like now, like I see he went back a couple weeks ago like to see Roman or whatever. I have a hard time seeing Cena in jorts with the long hair because I'm like, this is like uncanny valley. Something doesn't work. He's supposed
Weird
to
a little bit.
It's really weird seeing actor Cena in the. It feels like actor Cena is just playing John Cena the wrestler in a biopic.
Are you a fan of Peacemaker?
I adore
I
Peacemaker.
haven't watched it yet, but I need to see it. I need to fucking
Please.
see it. I know.
Please. I've even thought about doing like some watch along videos and stuff like that too. I would love to have guests on their comics and stuff like that.
I have this idea. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's been done. Obviously, with film, it's fucking been done. But like, basically commentary. You know what I'm saying? Like, click. We're starting the movie now at this time. Fucking click. You know what I'm saying? I've been wanting to do something like that for quite some time. But you know what I'm saying?
One of my favorite shows back in the day was we talked off camera about Dave Attell.
Mm-hmm.
He had another show called Dave's Old Porn.
Nice.
And it was on Showtime. And literally all it was Dave would have a couch and there's a gigantic green screen behind it. And it would show like an old 70s porn. And they would watch it. And you'd have like the actual actresses or actors from that 70s porn on the couch with them. And they're discussing the porn. And they're just making jokes like Mystery Science Theater 3000. They're just riffing on this porn. Like, look at that bush. Look at that shit. And look at her titties. It looks like National Geographic and stuff. And they're just roasting the porn as it's playing in the background on Showtime.
I'd be.
It was like an hour show. It's just hilarious.
It's hilarious. It sounds hilariously like cringe. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It'd be phenomenal. I'd be worried like even though it's corny, like I still might crack a boner, and then like somebody might notice.
But you're also getting like you're getting inside things of like what the porn scene was like in the 70s. Like the actors are like, yeah, on set was like this. Like they're being very graphic, like just how the sets were and stuff. They're just open. And it's kind of fascinating to kind of hear that while you're watching the movie too.
I'm a huge fan of behind the scenes.
Yes. And so even on porn, it's like,
this
that's
is
kind of interesting. Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I've never heard of that show.
It's kind of like when you go on Reddit and watch porn bloopers.
I haven't done that.
Oh, you should. It's the highlight of the day.
I've watched some pretty fucking cringeworthy porns though, and I came. It was great.
Yeah.
I
mean, of course.
My
you gotta
favorite
get
one
priorities.
is like an Exorcist parody.
Ooh.
Where like the bitch
she just threw up porn, cum?
No,
Oh.
that would have been crazy. You know what I'm saying?
She
pulled
comes
out
split
like
pea soup.
The preacher fucking walks in the door and he's like, "Oh, you're fucking possessed." Blah blah blah. You know, they get to fucking. But like,
sounds like my childhood.
That's tough. To end it though, like this is what really made me come. Is like, you know what I'm saying? His normal fucking exorcist shit. Yeah, I'm being serious.
I know you are. That's what.
He pulls out a fucking Jesus Christ fucking cross dildo. Like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, fuck God. Yeah, Jesus, this is phenomenal. And I fucking busted everywhere. She's now saved. So.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite mattress company, such as Saatva, Purple, hell, even Sealy Posturpedic. Do they even still make that one, Stefano? I don't know. I haven't bought a mattress in quite a while. Ever. I usually just get the one left behind from the divorce. And, real talk, it's kind of hard to go back to that same mattress every night now that it's just me and, the one that was my marital bed where someone used to spoon me and tell me everything's going to be okay. Every night I just wish that I had a sponsorship from a mattress company such as Saatva. If you want to help me fight this depression, then message your favorite mattress company and tell them to sponsor Unloading Meat, so I'll shut the fuck up. Now, back to the show. So, can I tell you so it's not exactly a porn, it's a erotic movie from France.
Okay, nice.
The most disturbing, it's cultured. It was a short film. I was on, back in the day when you're young, you're just searching DirecTV to find something to jerk off to. You're desperate. Mm-hmm. I mean, occasionally you'll see a side boob on HBO if your dad subscribed to it once or forgot the 3-month trial ended.
I used to watch The Girls Gone Wild commercial on Comedy Central, on repeat, and fucking baited to that.
But I would my dad would occasionally have Cinemax or Showtime and stuff like that. And one time on Showtime, it was on Showtime or Encore. Remember Encore back in the day? Those were the really shitty movies. If your dad got a $2 subscription, oh, you want to cancel HBO? We'll give you Encore. And Encore's oh, it's Mrs. Doubtfire 500 times in a row, which I love that movie, but it's never that and Dunstan Checks In. And for some reason, Crocodile Dundee 2. They just play that on repeat.
Yes, sir.
I jerked off to that sometimes.
Nice.
That's not a knife, that's a cock.
Said nice.
Anyway, what was it? Now I'm turned on. Anyway, this short film was called La Prostitute.
Okay. Yo, I just watched somebody fucking talk. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's done in subtitles and stuff like that, and it's a very short movie. It's 15 minutes, but it kept me up at night because I started I was like, oh, this is getting really hot, and then the what do you call it? What's the magician say whenever they reveal what's it called? The prestige.
Abracadabra.
Well, no, like the prestige, like the actual unveil of the final joke, like the final unveil of a magician's like thing. Oh yeah, well yeah. Anyway, I'm also a little high. I've been smoking. Anyway, starts out. Prostitute walks into this hotel room. This guy's like, "I've heard your reputation," and she's like telling them the rates of like a blowjob's this, the sex is this, anal's this, and stuff like that. And he's like, "I've heard your reputation. You have a special attraction. Like you're known for something, a special trick." And she's like, "Yes, but I only do it in the dark." And she's like, "What did you hear all the way?" He's like, "I heard that you can sing the national anthem as you're giving me head."
Wow.
So she's like, "Yes, but I only do it in the dark." So he pays her and stuff like that, paid first. She goes down and it shows like the silhouettes of like him getting on the bed and her getting down. She's like going like this and going like this. And then it reaches over and he pulls the light switch and you see a glass eye on the light post. He was skull fucking her while she was singing. And then it just goes credits.
That's crazy.
That was a French film, not even to be sexual. That was just a movie.
It's true cinema at its finest.
I mean, after I cleaned up, I was disturbed for a while, man. That did some things to a young me.
You ever masturbate and then just be like disgusted with yourself after you watch it, or
That's just called being a dude.
That's all the time for me. I was watching.
That's part of coming, dude. You just feel disturbed. You're like, oh, what have I done with myself?
My latest thing is fucking.
I gotta get out of this elementary school.
Is fucking cuck porn, man. Like I couldn't bring myself to cuck in real life, but like for some reason I'm just like, yeah, fuck my wife. I don't know. It's a new thing. Look how she looking, yo. I'm joking. It's funny. It's a bit. Keep going.
It's all right. I mean, you're only gonna get like cuck porn or like stepsister, stepmother porn on Pornhub now. It's like
that's all that exists. Why does everybody care about that?
I'm stuck in this window. Well, bitch, you deserve it then. I mean, you dumb bitch.
Exactly. How dumb do you got to be to get stuck in a fucking couch, son? Just pull your arm up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Problem solved, bitch. You're not getting fucked now. You know what I mean?
Just watching a rewind. She learned her lesson.
That would never work for me. Like, if my wife got her arm stuck, like, we just get her arm out. Like, I don't think we just fuck. You know what I mean?
It's like, I'm stuck in the dryer, and I didn't wear any underwear right now.
I might take my wife there. You know what I mean? The undies. That might be phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you got it, flaunt it.
My biggest thing is, like, amateur porn, though. I like that.
Okay.
Over, like, directed porn. You can always tell how fake it is.
For a second there, I thought you said amputee porn, and then I was like, my mind went to a completely different subject. I mean, that's hot, but that's a hot take.
Like, what do they call it? Dwarf little people porn.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Like, that's hot. That's cool. Yeah. But like amputee, that'd be terrifying. But like amateur, you know what
I've noticed? As like the movements come for like the trans movement and like more progressive stuff like that. Movements. Well, I am getting that. Well, kinda. As the acceptance and more like tolerant of like, hey, use my right pronouns and all that stuff happens. As that goes up, it's becoming way more acceptable to say midget. Have you noticed that? Like, it used to be the word for dwarfs. Like, there was like, we're little people now. You know, little people, big word was a big show on TLC. Now, everywhere just talks about midgets.
Right.
Like, it's just like, it's back to being like, it's not even a thing now. I guess it's okay.
I wonder if we'll go through like a cycle, like with clothing and styles and how everything repeats. Like,
yeah, and eventually we won't give a shit about women either, right?
You know,
I know.
Shout out to the 50s.
Yeah, eventually.
You know what I'm saying? If we'll be able to say certain words again. You know what
Your
I'm saying?
body, our choices.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it is now.
It's fucked.
It's like Texas one. We'll zap the retards one at a time, but you can't have an abortion.
That's tough, man.
That's pretty true. Anyway, so back to rapping.
Let's talk. Like I said, man, like I love hip hop, man, but the rap, the art, the act of doing
okay, so
thing ain't really my energy.
Growing up, okay, let's say little King Castro, so Prince Castro X.
True indeed. That was the man.
What was your rapper of choice? What was the rapper that was like, oh my god? What was the first?
I grew up obviously like Tupac and things like that. My mother played a lot of Tupac, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Snoop, a lot of Dre. You know what I'm saying? West Side Connection, shit like that. So I grew up to a lot of like West Coast, you know what I mean? Years later, I found East Coast hip hop on my own, and that's kind of where my pen started to elevate to a more lyrical form of penmanship, as well as like a lot of South Side, Houston, Texas shit. My uncle had came home from prison down from Texas, man, and laced me up. I love that down south Texas screwed up music, man. That's my shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was my big influences early on. I'd say my favorite rapper though is DMX. Been DMX since before. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to my man. You know what I mean? Been DMX. But you know what I mean? I love Pac. I love a lot of cats, man. Old school's really the energy for me. It's some decent talent out here nowadays. I don't really listen to radio anymore though. I don't really listen to anything unless it's Tulsa local, like Lovelace the Dragon and shit like that. I really fucks with my Tulsa boys, JDB the realest. You know what I mean? If I'm even listening, I don't even listen to music, man. Like I listen to myself, not musically, podcasts. I listen to my wife tell me what things I need to get done. Like I don't listen to fucking music no more, man. I'm been listening to this like cyberpunk type music, like vaporwave and shit.
Really?
Like that's been my energy lately. But like I don't even like. I'm just kind of withdrawn right now, man. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to hip hop and music as a whole, lo-fi. I prefer music without lyrics.
Lo-fi has been something my jam, like especially when I'm smoking and stuff like that. I just have it on YouTube. I have like the lo-fi channels and just auto 24/7 channels.
Lo-fi allows you the ability to
What I write to.
concentrate. Yeah,
It's what I write country. Yeah, I have been smoking a little bit. We're talking about my ex-wife cunt.
It allows you the freedom to think on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like your own thoughts and shit without somebody trying to shove their own thoughts down your throat. You know what I mean? So like when I say that, I mean like listening to other music, man. There's shit being thrown at you constantly. Like you know what I mean? That shit gets old, man. I'm just trying to think my own thoughts. You know what I mean? And breathe my own air out here. Like that's really what I'm on. So like I don't really listen to them unless it's Tulsa. If I fuck with Tulsa hip hop, you know what I mean. Other than that, I don't listen to anything.
So let me ask you this, so we can segue to this. We were talking about wrestling earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite entrance music?
Shit, that's a banger of a question, man. So you got that.
Okay, WWE. We can go current, or we can go back. Because honestly, I think all the current themes are pretty much trash, except for some of them the
I don't
CFOs
even
did.
know anybody's current shit.
They started replacing all the WWE themes with like new generic music because they didn't want to get the copyrights or pay for people.
So,
and it's just like, it sucks. It took all the personality out of the characters.
Pro wrestling has so many bangers, bro. You got that. I walk. Come on, Dave Bautista. Hey, nothing you can say. Randy Orton's old track.
Oh yeah, dude.
Come
like,
on, baby.
I love that
wrestling
track.
Bangers, man.
I love that his original CM Punk's track was supposed to be Randy Orton.
See, I'm not a Punk fan, bro.
Really?
I don't fuck with Punk, man. Punk can get out of here.
His Kill Switch Engage song, "This Fire Burns," that was Randy Orton's theme. He had it one time for a show, and then they gave it to Punk.
I ain't know that.
Yeah. There's a YouTube clip where you can see Randy Orton coming out to it. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
Anytime and every time you hear glass break, you'll think of one song.
I wish that people still fucked with the Disturbed version. That Disturbed version of that track is fire, and you can't find it on like a Spotify or anything. Like they don't have the licensing for it anymore.
Yeah,
but it's fucking amazing. I love the original too, but I mean the Disturbed version is, man, when he went heel and he had that Disturbed like remix. Something about when a wrestling character changes heel or babyface and they have that remix of the track.
Yes, sir. I think one of my favorite performances of all time was WrestleMania 22. Triple H walking out to Motorhead playing, the game.
Yeah.
The Game is the hardest fucking
I love
entrance song of all time. I don't give a fuck.
That's honestly kind of interesting too, considering it's Motorhead, like a legendary band, and they had Ace of Spades and they had some other hits, but then like their career was mostly like in the 70s. In the 80s, and then they didn't really get a renaissance until Triple H got them out of the track, and then that theme carried them until Lemmy died. Like that was a huge thing for them.
I want to tell you where I first heard Motorhead.
Okay.
Shout out to a classic video game that made me who I am to this day. Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh yeah.
That fucking game had so many bangers.
Yes, every one.
You heard Del the Funky Homo Sapiens at you better wash your ass.
Goldfinger.
Let's go.
Superman.
I don't know what that song was. It's just it repeats the same thing over. Tony Hawk.
Oh, I don't remember that one too either. I know Kiss was on there. Like
it was such an amazing game.
That and GTA had like the most
San Andreas.
All of the series, but like those soundtracks opened up me to like a whole different genres of like radio.
I remember playing San Andreas, switching from the classic rock radio to Radio Los Santos constantly.
Yeah. I
also developed a lot of knowledge. Another game that blessed me with music knowledge, though, man. Guitar Hero was a banger for
Yeah.
people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For kids that didn't grow up listening to rock music, I learned about Black Magic Woman and shit like that. Fucking the
Yeah.
first time I heard Slayer's Raining Blood was from playing that game.
Well, I feel like
such
that
a
shit,
banger.
like those soundtracks, Guitar Hero, things like that. You can shit on video games all you want, but those things, like I said, we're people from Oklahoma, and I was exposed to rap and R&B, and like those soundtracks just really exposed me to things I probably wouldn't know just from this local area.
Right.
Just from playing those games really opened my eyes. Like, hell, I can still go back and play Grand Theft Auto Vice City because I love the 80s soundtrack from there. Like, it's a banger soundtrack.
There was times where I just press the pause screen and go to where you can adjust audio and it lets you pick your radius,
Yeah.
and I would just
And
have
the
that
ads.
playing. Yeah.
The ads.
The ads were phenomenal. They had brilliant actors doing that. Like,
Yes.
It was so fucking good. Gaming was great. Now all it is fucking. This is where the Comic Con comes in. I'm a fucking geek.
It's just
yo.
like, hey, it's sports game 2023.
Or fucking let's all put each other in a sandbox and shoot at each other online. There's no story. Where's the story?
yeah.
It's about the story, kids. You can't have good content if you don't have a fucking story to tell. Like, you need that.
Yeah.
Same with pro fucking wrestling. We're lacking story these days, ladies and gentlemen.
I
Bring
will
back
say
the story.
I fell out of wrestling or WWE around the time AEW was, because I was a hardcore
Mhm.
NXT fan, and then when AEW came around, it was like that kind of generation shift went over to AEW, that kind of
Mhm.
that culture, and then NXT kind of died with 2.0.
What'd you think of? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What'd you think of Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes?
Amazing match.
A beautiful fucking match.
Beautiful match. I actually have the figures right over there, the bloody ones.
Do you? So
Yeah.
I saw those at the Vintage Toy Mall the other day.
Yeah, I have those. I thought you were originally gonna bring. So they had a match at WWE.
I did not know that.
So that was their thing when he was Stardust. They were begging for a match. Because like when Dusty died, Goldust. But he was Stardust also. So back in WWE, when Cody Rhodes quit WWE, the reason he quit was they basically made him a character called Stardust, which is a kind of like Goldust but with stars. Yeah.
Whack.
And when
That
Dusty
sucks.
died, he wanted to drop the gimmick. He's like, I just want to go back to Cody Rhodes, and they wouldn't let him.
Right.
And he was just miserable being this fucking face painted goof. And they just wanted a match. He's like, I want to do a match against my brother. Like, we want to do a WrestleMania match. This is their dream. They wanted a WrestleMania match, Dustin versus Cody. And they let them do a match, the pay-per-view before, like Elimination Chamber or something like that. And they wouldn't let him be Cody. It was Stardust versus Goldust. And this match sucked. You could tell both of them were not into it.
Right.
And after that, they're like, yeah, we're not even going to continue the feud. You're not going to get a WrestleMania match or anything. And then he quit. Like, he's like, just let me go. Just let me get fired.
I think I heard about this a little bit listening to Talk Is Jericho a
Yeah.
while back. He had Dustin on the pod, and he was kind of talking about that. But the AEW Double or Nothing match was
phenomenal.
fucking amazing.
It's an
Vince
amazing
really
storyline.
slipped not having that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. Again, it's all about the story. Wrestling, it's not necessarily about the moves. It's how you tell the story in
Honestly,
the ring, the psychological
I need the
side of
blood.
things. The blood is beautiful. The blood makes
storytelling.
It is.
There's
It's
something
all about story for me.
animalistic, lizard brain of us. As soon as we see that blood, there's a kick. It could be predetermined or anything.
Mm.
As an audience, you're just like, oh shit, it's real. It just there's something that we can't control, that when it happens, it's an oh shit moment. It goes to another level, and as a performer, you just need those levels. You need to
Right.
know all those tools in your toolkit.
Speaking of blood, a promotion that I have the utmost fucking respect for, because it's something that I relate to. The coming from nothing, making some shit happen when you ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? EC fucking W to me will always be my
Props.
favorite. Yeah, my favorite fucking brand. I love what Paul Heyman did. You know what I'm saying?
Especially the heartbreak of how close they were to getting a TV deal.
Mhm.
They were months away from making it work.
ECW is the punk
Yeah.
version of professional. It was that.
And
You know what I
honestly,
mean?
the
It was so
Attitude Era
metal.
wouldn't have happened without ECW.
Agreed. I agree 100%.
Because WWE and WCW basically stole all the talent from ECW.
Mm-hmm.
Rey Mysterio was in there for a cup of coffee. That's what Paul Heyman says. He was there for a cup of coffee. He did like 2 matches. Then WCW was like, "Oh, that's cool." Luchadors signed them all. Took the entire Luchador
A
division.
lot of guys got their start on ECW, man. Chris Jericho, Benoit. I mean, they wrestled
Yeah.
other places, but like their first real
They're-
big
yeah.
promotion. Ray, you know what I'm saying? So many fucking people. Eddie,
People forget that Cactus Jack,
yes sir.
Stone Cold. Well, he wasn't Stone Cold, but he was early Steve Austin.
When he had the blonde hair.
Yeah, when he got fired from WCW.
That's when he started with the promos.
Yes, he was so pissed off at WCW, he got fired by fax.
Mhm.
He got faxed his termination papers as he was injured or whatever,
It-
and pissed him off. And Paul Heyman gave him a mic, and he just went on there and ranted. And it was so good that it honestly helped him get signed to WWF.
I think what's his name too?
Timing and place. We talked about it earlier.
One of the best workers to me of all time, Rob Van Dam.
Oh yeah.
Got his ECW.
Yeah.
Made that.
He's still
motherfucker.
going now.
Oh, he is. He's thick.
I
now.
also respect for him like the marijuana advocate and stuff like that, and how much it helped him and stuff
He
like
got
that.
fired from WWE multiple times because he wouldn't quit smoking trees.
Yeah.
Shout out to RVD,
Yeah.
man. The whole damn show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of RVD. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, ECW is the ticket for me, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? WWF attitude, or not attitude. Is it Attitude Era? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, Attitude Era is peak wrestling for me.
Yeah.
You know, ruthless aggression was fun.
And I mean, we do have to say, I mean, there is some rose tinted glass too, because I mean, not all of it was great. I mean, I will say
Of
the
course.
storytelling was amazing. I will say, like, women's wrestling and stuff. I mean, it's a different time, different place. We're not trying to like go back and watch stuff with current eyes. Is what I'm trying to say. But also, like, there has been advancements in different things, you know, as a whole. But I will agree, is like the storytelling. One thing that stood out to me in the Attitude Era was every match from the bottom of the card to the top made sense. And every storyline intersected and weaved, and even the mid-carders, the lower mid-carders, they all had storylines that had purpose.
Right.
You knew who their character were. X-Pac, the whole hardcore division, Crash Holly, Hardcore Holly, all those people, all the women that were managers, you knew every single one of them's personality.
Right.
And then they kind of got away from that for a while and just hired X-models.
Right. Or football players. Shit like that, man. Yeah.
And you could teach them technique, but they had to have a showmanship, and they have to have the wow factor. We need to see personalities.
That's the one thing I want to see, man, come back, not only in pro wrestling, but in just a lot of different forms of content, man, is the storytelling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We lack story.
And, you know, I realized that if I wanted that lump in the bed to go away, I'd either have to switch sides or get a new mattress. And, you know, once again, this show, Unloading Meat, is not sponsored by your favorite mattress company, but it could be. It could be. If you want to help me fill that lump, not just in my mattress, but here, message your favorite mattress company. Tell them to sponsor Unloading Meat. Now back to the show.
What are your thoughts on the wild ass transition, but the fast movies?
I fuck with them.
Do
They're great popcorn movies. They're good for what they are.
I think that's a good statement.
Are they going to get an Oscar? No. But is there a place for them as far as like, hey, this is a fun action movie to just turn my brain off and just watch cars bash into each other? Cool. And Vin Diesel talk about family for 4 hours.
Right. I can't argue that point. I'm not a fan. I
Okay.
fucking hate them because of what they are. They're so fucking garbage to me.
Yeah.
But I respect what you said. You said it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Great popcorn movies, man. It's something you just turn the fuck on.
It's like if it's on like FX and I'm like the TV's on or something like that and it's on,
Right.
I'm like watching those two cars go at it and The Rock's trying to hide that he's taller than Vin Diesel. I'm into it for a bit.
What's it called? Too? I'm a fan of Tyrese Gibson. Too,
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He gets love.
Yeah.
You feel me? Shout out Tyrese.
Tyrese is pretty cool.
Tyrese. You know what I mean? Big love to him. You know what I
They're
mean?
making another one, that Fast 10, I think is what
Of
they call
course
it.
they are.
It's like the finale, but like it's pissing me. I will say, I'm pissed off with the marketing. So like every day for the last 2 weeks, IGN and all the people I subscribe to on YouTube, they're putting out these little teaser trailers, and it's like Fast and the Furious 10, and then it's like side note, legacy trailer, and they're doing a legacy trailer for each one of the 9 movies before. So it's just a minute trailer of the first movie, the second
Shit you
movie, the
already
third
seen.
movie, and then it's like Fast 10 coming soon.
So that's what I'll say. Look,
And I'm like,
we're
what the
talking
fuck?
movies 1 and 2. I loved. I love those.
I actually like
fucking
3 a
films.
lot. I like Tokyo
3
Drift.
was cool. 3
I like
was
Tokyo
cool.
Drift for being so different.
And that's what it was. It was different.
Yeah.
1 and 2 were my shit. There
Yeah.
was story to that
Yeah.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
4 was all right.
Street races.
5 on it honestly enjoyed a lot just because I love the part with the damn safe and the 2 cars driving. That was just a cool action scene. I thought that was really well done action scene of them. I don't know if you remember what it was. Like, the 2 cars, they were had a bungee cables or whatever hooked up to a gigantic safe, and they were driving it through like Brazil. And they're just like bashing this gigantic room-sized safe into buildings and stuff, and they're driving these hot-rodded like Chargers, and they're both just towing it behind.
It sounds crazy.
It's fucking dope. They are driving these damn Chargers, and the police are chasing them and shooting them, and they are just whipping this fucking safe around Rio, just destroying buildings.
It's crazy.
Just fucking, like, look at this shit.
Their stunts and shit are phenomenal.
Like, just the utter destruction is fucking ridiculous. And I just was like, this is just stupid. But it's entertaining because you're just watching this entire town just get destroyed. Like the little kid's like, what the fuck?
You know what I'm saying? The action is good, man, but I'm a storyline guy. It's the same with my comics, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I read the fuck out of
There's
superhero
storyline
comics.
there. Haven't you heard about his family?
It's trash. Fuck him. Fuck his
The ones that are surviving that they still talk about on camera?
Vin Diesel, a better actor, is
I do
Groot.
got to say, the irony of how Paul Walker died is hilarious.
That's tough.
We could talk about it enough time. It's not too soon.
Yeah. R.I.P. Paul Walker, man.
Yeah, extra crispy.
Fucked up, boy.
Kind of like Ryan Dunn.
Vin Diesel's best role is him playing Groot.
The touchy subject. I
Nah.
love Ryan Dunn and Jackass, but
Ryan
the way that
Dunn
they die
cool.
was a similar way. I'm like,
I just recently realized how gay Jackass was, man. I used to watch
it's very
that shit.
gay.
It is, man. I used to watch that show with my friends, and we thought we was cool being fucking jackasses.
Looking
and
back
shit.
now that I identify as bi, I'm like, makes sense.
Here's the deal, though, man. See, like,
I'm like, I saw a lot of dicks back then,
man,
and I was cool with it. And all my friends were like, "This is gross." And I'm like,
my wife had never seen the film, man. And so I hype it. I'm like, babe, we about to watch Jackass. This shit's hilarious. We get cuddled up, you know, all snuggled and shit. You know what I mean? Doing what we do. Motherfucking throwing Jackass, man. First scene, some goddamn dick shit. And she's like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Next scene, some dick shit, some butthole shit. And I'm just like, damn, now she think I like my butthole touch. Which I
okay,
do.
have you seen
know what I'm
Jackass
saying?
4? The newest one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one we
Okay, yeah. The opening scene though with the fake Godzilla is pretty fucking funny though. I have to admit. I don't know if you
I
found
don't
it
know
funny.
if I remember that shit. The opening scene I remember is them smushing their cocks and some fucking. in the
Oh
glass,
no.
bro.
So this is on. I think you guys watched 4.5 on YouTube. Did you watch it on Netflix?
We bought the shit.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
The opening scene of Jackass 4 is they painted his dick and scrotum into Godzilla, and they have it like a puppet, and they're going through this fake town, and then they're reenacting
remember
it like Johnny Knoxville. They're actually in the town, and they're getting sprayed with fake jizz and stuff. Like it's like Godzilla attacking them in a town.
That's
It's
That sounds
hilarious.
funny as fuck, man. That
It's
sounds
fucking
funny.
hilarious. Like it's a full Hollywood production with like fireworks, explosions, and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just perspective of his dick and balls painted as Godzilla going through.
I'm just saying, Jackass ain't the movie you show to your wife trying to impress the boys.
No.
You know what I mean? Take your time.
No,
Choose something else. We watched this crazy ass, like, Hitler ass rabbit movie last night. What
Jojo
was it?
Rabbit.
Nah, what was that shit?
I was like, Jojo Rabbit's amazing.
It's called, like, Water. What is it? You ain't gonna tell me? She ain't gonna let me plug it, man. It's on, what was that? HBO Max? Fucking crazy. Waterside Down or some shit, bro. It's about these Jew rabbits with these fucking Hitler rabbits coming and attacking them and shit, son. Like, yo,
I don't know if Stephane's gonna be able to fact check this or not.
I ain't never seen that shit in my life.
I don't
My
know if I
wife
want to
put me
go on Google search and type in Jew rabbits.
No, just type in water.
I'm gonna show up on some kind of watch list.
So, one fact about this movie, I think it's, what is it called? I need to know. I got
This episode is not sponsored by Jew rabbits, guys. Jew
Waterside
rabbits,
Down or some shit.
part of a balanced breakfast.
Watered down. Look, it wasn't watered down. This movie, for 40 years, has been fought to have a higher parental rating because it's one of the most graphic cartoon movies ever made. Waterside Down or some shit, baby. Yeah, she ain't gonna tell me to fucking. Y'all fucking Jew hating motherfuckers know what we talking about. Don't be racist, piece of shits. Quit killing rabbits out here. Tricks are for kids. You know what I'm saying? This is. You looking it down? Water
Water
fucking ship down, bro. That's the movie. Is that what it's called, baby? Yeah, we found it. It's so graphic. Look at that fucking rabbit rabbit right there. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures of this.
That's a Nazi rabbit, my friend. It's a fucking Nazi rabbit. The other rabbits are Jews. At least this is my interpretation of the film. I don't know if that's really what they were going for, but it's about Jews.
Are
and
there
Hitler.
Netflix is making like another CGI version of it?
They are.
Oh
It's
my
gonna be
God.
graphic.
Are they all gonna have like do Zig Heil and stuff like that?
Bro, I'm telling you, it's about Nazis and Jews. That's what the fucking film is about, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that's really what it's about, but like that's my interpretation. It's about Nazis.
Can I
and
just say you had me at Nazis and Jews?
I'm a fan, all right, ladies and gentlemen.
Not
of
that I'm like
fucking-
saying they should be together because they really shouldn't.
Yeah,
I do say
clearly,
that I mean I do admit that the Holocaust happened. I'm not a denier. That's the other family
which is
member.
wild too. I'm gonna say though, like, I'm a fan of Nazis getting beat up.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that Nazis existed so Captain America could whoop their ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that shit in films. Seeing Nazis get beat the fuck up is one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Not a
did-
fan of the Nazis.
I did love how in the MCU they showed him as like the what do you call it, the USO show,
Mhm.
and like they had the fake
Yes,
Captain,
sir.
and how they
Yes,
recreated
sir.
that. That was so cool.
Wasn't that the first Cap?
Yeah. Just the way that they recreated it and the way that they presented it as a USO show was so ingenious.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I look at your figures. I look at the studio. Clearly, you're a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
I think you even told me that off air.
Yeah, I even have several Marvel tattoos.
Nice, nice. What is your favorite Marvel film?
MCU or outside?
MCU.
Civil War.
Same. It's phenomenal. You get everybody.
You get
Fucking
everybody, but
Spider-Man.
it's also the catalyst for everything going forward. And there's so like the villain has no superpowers.
right.
I will say the only caveat that the biggest negative I have about Civil War is that villain's plot has to go off so perfect. For if anything is out just by a hair, that whole movie falls apart. Like that guy's whole scheme was very far fetched.
I feel like they did it though.
They did it.
It was.
And
phenomenal.
there's always going to be a suspension of disbelief. For like, why did that happen? Because the movie has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you're not. If you dig too apart into any movie, it's gonna fall apart.
Right.
But again, I love Civil War to death because like it changed every single dynamic. Even like Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yep.
Also, it introduced MCU Spidey, MCU Black Widow, or I'm sorry, Black Panther. We got the budding of Winter Soldier and Falcon going together. Like that movie was so pivotal.
I liked seeing Ant-Man interact with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
It brought
was
him into the fold.
True indeed.
It also, in my opinion, made up for Age of Ultron a little bit
Yeah,
because Age of Ultron was good, but it did have some faults.
it did.
But this felt more cohesive. Like it tied it all together.
I thought it was a great film. Overall, that's my favorite one. I did cry.
In game.
Not for the reasons everybody else did, right? I'm a fucking sucker for anything superhero. I feel so blessed to live in an era where we are fucking covered in superhero jizz.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There is no escaping it. Turn on a black light. It's there. You know what I'm saying? So I cried within the first 20 minutes just seeing, you know what I'm saying, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and just everybody
Yeah.
on screen. I was like, oh my God, this is just too much.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite VPN providers such as Express or Nord or any other VPN product that is constantly bombarding you with ads on every podcast, YouTube clip, everything that you ever watch. Hell, I'm honestly, VPNs, you guys should just be advertising on every Pornhub site and any kind of adult site because, guys, if you're ever trying to, wank one off real quick and you need to be sure that your favorite cable provider is not browsing on it, hop on a VPN. And guys, if you're tired of these fake weird ads, reach out to those VPNs and tell them to sponsor Unloading Meat. Now, back to the show. Have you watched Wakanda Forever?
Not yet. I
It's on
tried
Disney
starting.
Plus.
Yeah, I tried starting it the other night. I watched the funeral scene.
It's really
you know
good.
what I'm saying?
Um,
Or the celebration. I
Yeah,
guess.
it honestly the thing that blew me away. I've watched it once, and I'm gonna watch it again this weekend with my kids. The costume design, like it'll blow you away. The intricate detail of all the costumes. Like when you see how many extras are on this show, and you see all the detail of like all the handmade jewelry and all
Right.
the like intricate dresses and stuff, it's like, holy fuck, this had to take like years to even make.
I think that's beautiful too, man. That they captured it like that with that particular type of people, man.
I am upset that they kind of photoshopped Namor's dick.
Let's see, I didn't get that far.
Oh, it was big on Twitter and stuff that like he has an impressive
Dick was
tool.
big on Twitter.
He has an impressive tool.
Nice.
And
nice.
they photoshopped and cleaned it up so it didn't look so big in his suit.
But you know what I'm saying? Going back, like I said, I love that they did it for that particular people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black people, Africans, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Come from a
Yeah.
rich culture. You
Bro,
know what I mean?
even
And
I know you haven't watched it yet, but Wakanda Forever has Namor, and it's like very Mayan influenced.
really,
So they're bringing that culture into this, and it's like a Mayan Aztec kind of empire going against the Wakanda African stuff,
see, that's pretty.
and it's very
incredible.
cool.
What do you think about what's going on with DC?
I'm very
On the
excited.
way. Shout out James Gunn.
I'm a huge James Gunn fan.
As am I. My only fear is that it's gonna be super fucking comedic.
I don't think so,
I hope not.
because if you watch like some of his earlier work, like his horror movies and stuff like that, he has a way of doing both tones.
Right. He was phenomenal with Guardians.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I feel so. My all-time favorite show is Better Call Saul.
Nice. We are fans as well. Me and
I
the wife.
truly feel that any comedic actor is the best person to ever do a dramatic role because they can tap into something that's just that extra level of sadness and deepness. Because all comedy comes from tragedy,
I agree.
and so Bob Odenkirk is a huge inspiration, and just I love that. And honestly, I feel like the character Saul, like I identify with Jimmy very well. Like
He's
just
real.
just that like always trying, like the just waiting for somebody to kind of believe in you, kind of like thing, and like I identify with Jimmy, like the guy that's like trying his best to do good and is always slipping. You know what I mean? I always identify with him a lot.
Better Call Saul was an amazing show. Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Was that fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Walter White, Jesse Pinkman. You know what I mean? I love that. El Camino was okay. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It was all right.
It was a good ending for Jesse's story, but like
It was.
Fat Todd threw me off.
Yeah, fat he was. Fat
But that scene where he's singing and Jesse's in the trunk or whatever is hilarious.
yeah.
That and it makes that song one of the sharing the night together.
Mhm.
Sharing the night together, and like Jesse's just laying down like a dog in the fucking car.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It was Jesse been through some shit, man.
Did you notice the little what was it? The snow globe that he had made? His custom snow globes?
I didn't.
Todd
No,
had
okay, I
custom
don't
snow
remember.
globes that he was making, and it had him and Lydia like having coffee and stuff. He was like that chick
That's
from Breaking
crazy.
Bad
Yeah.
that he had a crush on. He was making custom snow globes, like hand painting her shoes and stuff like that. And it was snow globes like him and Lydia.
That's crazy.
That was in the apartment when
I see
Jesse was
it.
in there. And it was creepy as shit.
Lydia's the
The girl that dies.
middleman.
Yeah, the one that he poisons with the stevia.
Yeah. I loved those shows. Those
Yeah.
were real dope. I wish we had a Breaking Bad comic book. I feel like there's so much
Yeah.
that can be done there.
Yeah.
You know, even though the story's already been told, but I feel like I'm a big fan of like The Preacher. So like maybe Breaking Bad
Yeah.
done in the form of like The Preacher.
You like
Shout
The
out-
Boys?
I've only read a little bit of The Boys. I've only watched a little bit of the TV show, but it's phenomenal. Isn't it also written by?
Seth Rogen and Evan. They do the same people that made Preacher make The Boys.
Okay, so I'm talking about for the book.
Oh
the
yeah.
comic.
I don't.
I'm probably incorrect. Nerds don't kill me, but Steve Dillon and Garth Ennis are the creators of The Preacher.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen did phenomenal on the show.
Yeah.
It ain't fucking with the book, but it's everything you would want.
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what I'm
they
saying?
did what they could on cable TV with a limit
Right.
and
it
a
was
cheap ass
great.
budget. They had when you hear the behind the scenes, they had no budget. They were like AMC is notorious for like really being tight on their budgets with shit.
It was. Yeah. So already from what I did read, it already had the tone of The Preacher. One of my favorite Punisher fucking Max.
Yeah.
Steve Dillon, Garth Ennis did that run. It's probably my favorite thus far. I'm a big fan of them. You know what I mean? They are incredible writers. But I think what the fuck was I saying? Breaking Bad done by them in a comic book.
Yeah.
Be game changing.
Yeah.
Game changing. They're probably my Garth Ennis is probably my second favorite comic book writer.
Well, I just love like Breaking Bad and like, just those writers. I love any writer that can build a universe and put you in that city, in that town. Completely unrelated genre show,
Mhm.
but the same identical feel. Parks and Recreation.
Nice.
Have you ever watched that show?
I've watched some of it.
If by the end of the show, like there's like 7 seasons, you know pretty much everybody in that small town. It's the locations where they're located and distinct from like the city hall and stuff. Like they're so good at world building. You know every person, that government, everything. That just it feels like a real small town. You've known the postman, the mayor, everybody, and you just know it. And they're all like it's like The Simpsons. Everybody's a character kind of thing.
Right.
Simpsons is another one. You can identify the different landmarks and stuff. South Park. Do you ever play the South Park games?
Yeah.
Looking at that map and seeing everything on a whole world map, and they actually
Right.
had to build that for the first time and like lay that out. It's kind of cool, impressive that you can kind of world build like that. I find that really impressive.
those games were incredible as well.
That's where getting back to like on your wife's episode or Joe's episode, we were talking about storytelling comedy, telling stories. I am so impressed and respect people that are able to build a world and take you on that journey with you, because that's the whole point of a story joke, in my opinion, is like you got to put us there with you,
See,
on
that's
the journey
kinda-
with you.
That's where I see myself. I'm more of a storytelling comedian.
I want to get there. I'm more punchy and
I can't punch it up, man. I can only punch up a story that already exists. That's just, you know what I'm saying? Comes from the heart. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
which
more-
I'm still finding my voice too on there too. I'm not that I have any
It's a
ego on it too.
process,
Yeah.
though, man. You will forever be growing on your journey as a comedian, podcaster, director, actor, whatever the fuck. You're forever polishing up
My
your
next
art.
tattoo, because I'm working on full sleeves.
Nice.
I have one word I want to do, and it's my favorite word in all of the stuff I'm working on. Iteration.
Iteration.
It's just everything. There's always going to be another iteration. You're always working. If you always put the work in, always advancing, there's always going to be another iteration, another pass on something. There's going to be another turn. It can get better if you put the work into it. Nothing's finished. I just always feel like you can, if you put the work in there and you have a vision, stay to it, eventually it'll get there. And I love the word iteration. I just don't know.
I like that. I like the idea of being an unfinished project.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's always more work to be done, always more tightening up, polishing.
We talked off camera about like when we do the open mics and stuff. I like to be like a student of the craft and watch everybody's sets. I like to stay to the very end.
I'm a big fan of training. I feel like similar to working out, man, it's all about, you know what I mean, constantly working on your craft, taking notes. I am a student. No matter what lane I am in, I am studying that shit, be that stand-up comedy, hip-hop, you know what I'm saying, promoting shows. I don't give a fuck what I'm doing, podcasting. I am constantly studying. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the mindset you must be in at all times. You know, the moment you think you done doing some shit, that's when you failing. That's when there ain't no more growth to be had. That does not make sense. That is not real. You know what I mean? There's always growth and progress to be made within self, within whatever the fuck you're doing.
Well, my philosophy with the stand-up comedy and the podcasting and everything like that is really just, I'm trying, especially with my stage presence, I'm really coming at this whole thing from a pro wrestling standpoint, even though I've never trained pro wrestling. It's more for like how I've watched pro wrestlers conduct themselves and their business and how they carry their craft and stuff, especially with like kayfabe and stuff like that, and their presence. They always say like the best pro wrestlers are the ones that turn their personality up to 11, and I feel that's exactly the same way with your stage presence when you do stand up. Energy, we talked about it earlier off camera. Keeping that energy up. People are there for a good time. You keep the energy up. You keep people excited, even if they don't like that particular joke. I guarantee you, the person next to them might do, and if they're laughing and that person's laughing, they might get into it because it's infectious.
I agree, man. It's all about your energy, all about the presence you bring.
I'm sure it's the same way with you on stage whenever you're doing your music.
It's the comedy, too. So the thing is, I'm not a good rapper, my friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm light. I'm trash, kind of. I'm not a good comedian by any
shout out to
means.
Trash the comic. He's actually really good.
Yes, a shout out to that guy, whoever they. Anyway.
You haven't met Trash yet?
Nah.
Oh, you will at the scene. He's a character.
So
Trash is fucking awesome.
I'm not a good comedian either. All I do is get up there and tell fucking stories. But the fact that the one thing is, you know what I'm saying, is I have a presence. I get up there and I command the motherfucking room.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So this motherfucker up here in front of me thinks I'm funny. I'm not funny, man. I just know how to make you feel what the fuck I'm saying. That's what it's all about.
And spoiler alert to anybody that's never been to a stand-up show or actually gone on stage, we can barely see you. When you're on a stand-up stage, a good stand-up shit,
That's true.
It's just a white light, guys. We just see white, and we're not trying to be racist. It always slips out.
You good, baby.
Dude, we're Southern. Racism's going to slip out even when you don't want to.
Man.
But anyway, it's just like we don't see the crowd. So honestly, we're going by feel and noise, and it's kind of liberating. If you embrace it, it's kind of freeing to me.
I try to lean in, man, and get a good look at people.
Yeah.
I get like a shimmer of human. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's hard to see.
If Lynn K smiles, I can see her.
Yeah.
See, it slipped out again.
Shout
out to Lynn K. She's a friend.
I ain't never met Lynn Case. You know what I'm saying? Have you met Josiah Patrick?
I don't think so. The name sounds familiar.
He's probably one of the best comedians when it comes to writing.
So he's probably been at an open mic or something like that, and I just haven't talked to him or something like that. Oh,
I think he's been taking some time off, man. Actually, he's doing a lot of bodybuilding now and shit, but he's a phenomenal writer. When it comes to, you know what I'm saying, his approach to comedy, it's so unique, so different. And I feel like that's one thing that people got to concentrate on, man, is find a way to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Put a different flavor on it. It's like you were talking about with my wife on her episode. You know what I'm saying? Basically, everything's been done.
Yeah.
What can you add?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
What's
saying?
your perspective on it? What's your unique look at it?
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people concentrate on not being them. They concentrate on doing it how the other person did it.
Yeah.
Like, man, add your own flavor. That's what's going to make that shit pop.
Or they concentrate on, that person's already did it, so I had to find something original.
Right. Fuck that.
Nothing's original. It's your take that's original. Another thing, another piece of advice I had, and I think it's Andrew Santino. I just saw it on something on the podcast or something like that. It was recent, but it was just such a good advice. There's people that were like, "Oh man, you just crushed it. I'm gonna hate to follow that." You know what I mean? Like when a person has a good set, and then you're next, you're like, "God damn, I'm gonna follow that." Never ever be like that. You should be excited that the person pump up the crowd for you. Be different.
They warming them up.
They warmed you up for you. Now, don't just fuck up. Go out there with confidence. Be like, hey, they've warmed you up. The crowd's already enticing, so now you're offering a completely different perspective.
That's my thing too, man. Just with
Embrace
my style.
it. Don't be scared.
9 times out of 10, I already know I'm gonna be one of the most unique motherfuckers on the show. So I don't know. That's something that I don't necessarily stress over, man. I'm a different kind of guy. I'm a white dude that talks with an accent. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time, I mean, on a black show, I'm gonna stand out. On a white show, I'm gonna stand out no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just go up there to be weird as fuck.
I'm gonna stand out too, but they have to use widescreen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying?
That got her so
She
good.
loves it. She loves it. But yeah, man. Be yourself on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Be yourself in any craft you're pursuing.
Yeah.
That shit is key.
You gotta speak your real truth and be you, and then the talent comes out.
For real.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite box delivery food service like HelloFresh or ButcherBox, but it could be. And honestly, it probably should be. Have you seen this guy? I'm a full-time fat ass. And honestly, if I had one of those subscriptions, I probably would lose quite a bit of weight because I've looked at the food and it looks pretty damn delicious. I mean, all food looks delicious to me. That's kind of the problem. But if you want to stop these fake ads, make sure to reach out to your favorite company like HelloFresh and tell them to sponsor Unloading Meat. Now, back to the show. All right, guys, we're back. And, man, King Castro X, I just have to say thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the couch. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. I feel like the start of a beautiful friendship between you. Your wife came by. Her episode was awesome, guys. If you haven't seen that episode yet, check it out. Joe Miller. Follow her, Joe Miller, everywhere. King Castro, where can they follow you?
Man, I want to say really quick, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit down and rock with you today. Again, to sit down with another podcaster is one of my favorite pastimes. So really felt like, you know what I mean? It was a great time, brother. Pleasure to meet you.
Word, man. It was awesome.
Check out the Comic Cons podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and all streaming platforms. With all due respect, podcasts on all streaming motherfucking platforms, including YouTube. Check that out, kids. Facebook as well. Soul Tap podcast. Check that out on all streaming platforms. Okie podcast on all streaming platforms. I'm fucking blanking here. Blackhoodie.clothing. Check us out. You know what I'm saying? Get you some gear, ladies.
You're gonna get me some gear, man.
Definitely
I'll get some swag. I'll watch.
We got the champion sponsorship.
I'll
man.
rep you some swag.
You need to get you some black hoodie, man. Yeah. Blackhoodie.clothing. Y'all know what it is. Am I forgetting anything?
I'm a swag whore, man. I'll wear whatever.
King Castro X on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. That's on all Facebook, Instagram. I'm fucking blanking. Twitch. Check me out. Playing Hogwarts Legacy right now. Go check it out.
I have to buy it. I'm waiting for my tags. I'm gonna buy it.
It's so fucking good. I had to make a deal with my wife. No more action figures for a month. For Hogwarts Legacy.
That's real talk. Hey, that's how couples work out, man.
It is, ladies and gentlemen. Compromise. That's the word of the day. We're out.
Well, guys, this has been Jared Ralphie Allen. He's King Castro X. This has been Unloading Meat. Have a good night, guys.
Unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye. Have a great time.